I first wanted to say a word of thanks for everyone, even the folks that are leaving, for coming out tonight and listening to the budget and to Mr. Quinn's presentation, which I thought was very well pointed and very edifying. I wish that there were more people that had come out to hear about the budget. This is a very big night in the life of the township. Okay, we passed a $35.7 million budget. Did I get that number right?
Yes, ma'am, you did.
Okay. Would I have liked to have seen more people here to hear about that? Yes. I'm a little bit stunned, I have to say, at the prioritization that has been given to other topics here tonight in light of the fact and the import of a budget that was passed that affects everyone in the township, how relatively little airplay it got versus other topics that I consider to be of far less significance and priority. That is a personal opinion, but this is a big, important thing, and a masterful job was done. I'd like to turn my attention for a moment to the budget. And also compliment Mr. Mancuso and Mr. Sisler once again. And the last slide of Mr. Quinn's presentation I really liked. It showed the scale that balances services, infrastructure, and taxes. There's one more element of the equation that I don't think quite got enough airplay tonight, and that is risk management. And underlying all of the line items in this budget are very deliberate, very carefully considered decisions on risk management around public safety and health, around our quality of life, around our fiscal health. And I would just like to say a word of compliment for all of the decisions that I know went into this. You know, just an example is Mr. Quinn's example about the library, the stonework on the library. Public safety will not be compromised. Those decisions get baked into the budget. The age of our fire trucks, you know, at what point do you decide you're going to sweat an asset versus, you know, do something that's in the best interest of the public. So there is so much more that underlies this budget than just a number that pops out at the end. And I think everyone involved, the architects, have done just a spectacular job, not only managing numbers, but managing risk. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Nunn.
I think Mr. Capuzzi is going to have the brightest future of anyone here, considering he's a sophomore in high school and getting paid for an internship. So kudos to you. You know, oftentimes people involved in politics are accused of not having common sense, with an S, not a C. And so there's something that affects all of us, regardless of party affiliation, and it was mentioned several times during the budget, and that's tax appeals. And this is a rhetorical question. How does it make sense that 15% of what you're paying in property taxes goes to the county, but when a resident or a commercial property owner files a tax appeal and is successful, the township must then pay back 100% of the tax appeal, meaning we don't get back 15% from the county. And it really doesn't make much sense to me as a committee person, as a citizen, as someone that is interested in these issues. There is legislation that was offered by an Assemblyman Alf, A-U-T-H, and so, and this committee has supported efforts to have the county give us back 15% for those tax appeal payments we need to make. I would urge those of you who come to these meetings frequently, to the extent you can in your scheduled permit or your family's permit, also go to freeholder meetings and comment and say to them, how is it that you're able to continue to keep this money and build on this surplus that you have? And it's great, they have 0% tax increases. That's great, okay? But how, as a matter of fairness, to every municipality in Morris County that has tax appeals and has to pay out on it, is the municipality who's already getting 24 cents on the dollar collected? It doesn't make sense. truly doesn't. So to the extent you can, to the extent you care, contact the freeholders. I had a chance last night to speak before them and to them at a debate, which some of you may have read about. And I made the comment about this, and I did so with somewhat of a wry smile on my face. It probably surprised them that I would be saying that to the Republican primary candidates. But I think it's an important issue, and here's why it's important, and I'll stop pontificating now. We've set aside $2.2 million for tax appeals, and it's probably a fair representation of what we've had. 15% of that is $330,000. That's a significant amount of money. That's money that could and should be coming back to us to pay out on these tax appeals. And you heard Mr. Quinn talk about prior years where we're going to be paying back over a 5-year period of time towards a large tax appeal, like a large year of tax appeals. And 15% of whether it be $4 million or $2 million is a significant amount of money to you, to us. And so please, go, speak at their meetings, contact them, email them, support the Assemblyman's efforts to get that legislation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mancuso.
Thank you very much. Mr. Nunn, it was the exact point I was going to make. So I saw it on his notes. I thought M came before N. But anyway, I feel very, very, very constrained by this, and I think that we should put every effort into contacting our legislators, the county, and the assembly in New Jersey to say that this is a totally unfair thing. Again, we collect $1. We keep 25 cents. When we have a tax appeal, we've got to pay back the entire dollar. And it just is totally unfair, especially when this is the money that we have given to the county for whatever our share of it was. So I think it's something that I would like to very, very much look at this year. I know we'll probably get nowhere as far as the legislature is concerned, but I would like to continue to work in that area. I have one other question. Where are we and how far is the revaluation gone? Do we have any numbers at all, sir?
So they're through about half the township right now,
Really?
Moving forward, and with the anticipation that we're moving forward through the summer months and cleaning it up and having everything done right around October 1st, and then working on the numbers coming up with it, and second week in November we'll get all of the result from all of their work, as will all of the residents with their new assessed value, and then there'll be a period of time where homeowners can come in and meet and discuss how they got to that value if they wish to do so.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Sisler.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Two plugs on this Saturday, the 23rd, is the Memorial Day Parade in Marsh Plains. And after that parade is completed, probably in and around noon, at the VFW Post 3401 on Route 53 in Marsh Plains, there will be free hot dogs and some activities for the children to do. Please come out if you have the opportunity, because that post is a thriving post. It's a great opportunity to bring your kids and your grandchildren and say thank you to a wonderful group of veterans. On the same note, on Monday, the 25th, is Memorial Day, and at 10 o'clock here at Town Hall, we will have a ceremony and then kick off a parade at 10:30 up to Morristown with all of the Morristown area American and National Little League teams with us. So it's, again, another great opportunity to meet those men and women that have served, honor those men and women that have served and not returned. It's going to be a wonderful weekend, a beautiful weekend, so I would urge everyone to come out and say thank you. With regard to Resolution 116-15 tonight, the adoption of the quiet zone that was discussed, I'd like to just point out and thank Mayor Mancuso and Mayor Rosenbusch, who's not here obviously, and Mayor Caffrey. I know their work, particularly over the 2.5-year period of time that was called what we commonly know today as the Honeywell hearings. They worked diligently on the planning board and on this committee to make sure that that request from our residents was met. And now we are seeing that come to fruition with the Rockefeller Group, which is working so very, very hard. Briefly, I would just like to touch upon the fact that I am very happy about and worked very, very hard in this committee and welcome transparency. I was the one that gave birth to the messenger, the e-messenger, at the direction of Mayor Rosenbusch in 2010-11. As mayor last year, and now Mr. Caffrey, as mayor this year, posts every day after the meetings, these meetings, a recap of what had occurred. Might not be very sexy, but it certainly is something. If you get the municipal messenger, you can see exactly what happened in a page or two, find out exactly what happened at these meetings. We worked very, very hard on these transparent matters, even up until this year, as we recently put the audio online so that some of our friends in the audience who commonly Oprah these meetings don't have to do that anymore. They can actually, the next day, tap on their computer and listen to the meetings. Interestingly enough, we heard a little bit tonight about fights and roadblocks, but there really hasn't been. When Honeywell came and wanted to make some different changes to their property, this transparency of this body and Morris Township held more than 50 public meetings for residents, all the residents of Morris Township, if they chose, to come out and speak in favor or against. Again, a 2.5-year period of time, more than 50 public hearings. I don't think that that is non-transparent. I think that we've done an excellent job, and I look forward to doing even more. And so I thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Sisler. A couple of things. Number one, I want to express my condolences to the Kavanaugh family of Morris Township. Paul Kavanaugh passed away the other day, long time resident of Morris Township, member of Fairchild Fire, along with his son, Robert Kavanaugh. Paul was a great guy, very wry sense of humor, and I know he's going to be missed pretty greatly at the around the 4 o'clock hour over at Fairchild Fire when all the retired folks get together over there. So again, my condolences to the Kavanaugh family. I want to thank all the committee members up here for focusing and talking about issues that are really important. Ms. Johnson, you're right on the money. I mean, what of paramount importance, the most important thing that we do, and that 100% of the residents care about, is that property tax. And that budget goes hand in hand, and it is of paramount importance. And unfortunately, it was dwarfed tonight. Mr. Nunn, you're, that the issue of the fact that the county has collected, we've refunded about $7 million in tax appeals over the last 5 years. Doing the math, that's $1 million that the county received from our taxpayers, and we paid back. I asked the county to write us a check for $1 million. I gotta believe they'd run in the other direction. They probably have spent it. It's easy to boast about a 0% tax increase when just from Morris Township, we refunded $1 million of their dollars, just from here, over the last 5 years. So, to beat your chest, and I'm not saying it's not an accomplishment, and their budgets aren't well done, but it's $1 million of your money that they spent that we refunded. As Mr. Sisler said, in a continuing effort to improve communication and share what's going on in the township, the committee, as did the county freeholders, begun posting their audio on the township website and also the county website. As you know, it comes at no cost. When I say no cost, I'm not talking about hard dollars. I'm also talking about soft dollars, people's time. It takes literally less time than Miss Emilio in having to produce the CDs when they're open. So it actually saves a little bit of time, nothing crazy, nothing major, nothing I would even equate to. So not only is there no hard dollar cost, there's no soft dollar cost. And that audio is available for your listening pleasure the very next day, not weeks later. Since putting up the audio of the meetings, there have been barely 100 unique hits. And this allows the residents to gain township knowledge at their convenience